matchup between the visiting Wolverines of the University of Michigan-Dearborn and your Fighting Saints. Therefore now, this time, is your visualize and category Cougar Tennis as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Good afternoon from the University of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois, and welcome to the open of basketball season. Game number 1 this year for the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints women's team. Terry Bonadonna with you on the play-by-play for today's matchup as the Saints take on the University of Michigan-Dearborn for the second consecutive year opening up the season. Last year they traveled to Michigan and won handily over the Wolverines. They beat them by an 86-49 final score. I'll look for more of the same today here at home in the coaching debut of Becky Sutton for the Wolverines. Both teams are on the floor. St. Francis is in white as the home team. Michigan-Dearborn is in blue as the visitors. The tip is won by the Fighting Saints. We are underway. Game number 1 as we open up the 2025-26 season for the 19th ranked Fighting Saints, who turned the ball over on their opening possession. Starting lineup for the Saints today, very familiar to anybody who saw them play last year. 4 of 5 starters are back in the lineup this season. Takara Harrison, Lorelei Thormeyer, Simone Harrell, and Leilani Harris. Mariah Paytas, who came off the bench as a center in her freshman campaign last year, moves into the starting lineup this season. Trouble in the corner and a 5-second call against Reagan Gary. Couldn't find anywhere to go with the ball. Gary coughs it up, and each team has turned it over on their opening possession. Starters for Michigan-Dearborn are Bailey Stimmick, Tamia Townsell, Marissa Thomas, Reagan Gary, and Lillian Golson. Simone Harrell spots up for 3, missed it off the front of the rim, and the rebound is chased down by Bailey Stimmick, junior out of St. Charles, Michigan. A lot of returning starters for the Wolverines as well. 3 of their 5 in the starting lineup started last season under the previous regime as the three-pointer misses from Stimmick, and Simone Harrell comes out running with the rebound. Here's Lorelei Thormeyer giving it up to Harrell, who took a step. That's traveling. A little bit shaky to open up today's game. We're 66 seconds in. No score yet. Fighting Saints will put on a full-court press. Tough season last year for Michigan-Dearborn, though they did end on a high note. They lost their first 27 games and then won the finale. 1-27 was their record. Fighting Saints are coming off a very strong season. Bailey Stimmick nearly loses the ball, but gets it back. And it's knocked out of bounds, last touched by the Fighting Saints. Saints have brought back 6 of their top 7 scorers from a season ago. So they are feeling pretty good coming into the start of this year. As I mentioned before, 4 of their 5 starters are back in the lineup. Stimmick crosses over, pulls up at the free throw line, and misses the jumper. Rebound to the senior guard, Leilani Harris. Pushed ahead, Lorelei Thormeyer misses the scoop shot, but Paytas comes flying in for the rebound. Setting up Leilani Harris, who knocks down the triple. First 3 points of the season belong to Harris, St. Francis's leading scorer a year ago. Harris averaged 15.5 points per game. She's got her first 3 this year as the runner misses on the other end for Marissa Thomas. Here come the Saints. It's Harris firing into the corner. Harrell stepped on the sideline. So the turnover problems persist for the Fighting Saints here in the opening quarter. 8:05 to play. 3 turnovers already committed by St. Francis. But they lead it 3-0 as they go to the bench for the first time today. Riley Swinski checks in. Her first appearance as a collegian as the baseline jumper falls for Marissa Thomas. Thomas has her first 2 points and her team's first 2 points of the season. Harris inside. Swung around to the corner. Swinski gets her first touch. Here's Thormeyer on the drive. Back into the corner. Swinski for 3, in and out. Rebound tracked down by Reagan Gary. One of the few additions to this team for Michigan-Dearborn. Marissa Thomas sets up the offense. Stimmick fires down low, up over Mariah Paytas. Tamia Townsell's able to bank it in. And Michigan-Dearborn, for the first time today, has the lead. It's 4-3. Just about 3 minutes into the action. Takara Harrison fires over to Leilani Harris, who eschews the screen, drives to the left instead. Harrison out to Thormeyer. Shot clock under 10. Thormeyer into the paint. Kicks outside. Swinski drives the baseline. Nearly lost it. Keeps it alive to Harris. Leilani Harris misses the three-pointer too strong and loses the rebound. Looked for a second like she had grabbed her own miss, but it's ripped away. Marissa Thomas on the other end. No good on the jumper. Rebound grabbed by Paytas, who's immediately hassled. Has to dribble out of the double team and finally tries to give it up to Thormeyer, but it's intercepted. A steal for Michigan-Dearborn. And a travel is called on Marissa Thomas, who tried to get the fake up, but didn't fool Mariah Paytas. She ends up taking the big step, and she's called for the walk. Subs for the Fighting Saints, Corinne Fromm, sophomore out of Kiel, Wisconsin, comes in for the first time today. Good freshman season last year. They also bring in Janae Singer, transfer from Hutchinson Community College. It's her St. Francis debut. Takara Harrison hits the three. Harrison scored 15 points per game last year. Not great from beyond the arc, but her first attempt today goes down. St. Francis is on top by 2. Marissa Thomas gives to Bailey Stimmick. Stimmick drives left side, loses the ball, knocked out of bounds. We're going the other way. St. Francis forces the turnover. Neither team has been particularly sure-handed today. First quarter has featured a lot of turnovers as Sydney Dixon comes in for Michigan-Dearborn, another returner from last year. Just trying to get their bearings in the opening game of the season. Here's Thormeyer directing traffic. Thormeyer picks up her dribble and throws it away. She was trying to find Singer. It's intercepted by Reagan Gary. Lob down low. This is Thomas, or Townsell rather. And Townsel's able to score and get herself to the line. Good move down low from Tamia Townsell, who's been a good post presence early on today. Her second field goal of the game. And that'll be the first free throw attempt for either team. Tamia Townsell last season for Michigan-Dearborn made 14 of 20 foul shots. She's 1 for 1 this year. The Wolverines are back in front. 7-6 is our score, nearly halfway through the opening period. Leilani Harris drives to her left, picks up her dribble, firing down low. It's Simone Harrell. Harrell spins towards the basket, off the glass and in. Nice move, Simone Harrell. Harrell came on strong in the second half of last season, moved into the starting lineup. A couple of miscues early on today with a few turnovers, but this time she's able to make a nice play close to the basket for her first 2 points. Marissa Thomas pulls up, kicks outside. Townsell back to Thomas, working against Fromm. Out to Lillian Golson. Golson airballs the three. Rebound is loose, and it's out of bounds. Last touched by Michigan-Dearborn. 4 minutes, 29 seconds to play in the first quarter. A little bit of a shaky start to this game, but St. Francis has the 8-7 lead. Fighting Saints are 3 of 7 from the field so far today, including 2 for 5 from three-point range. Leaders early on are Leilani Harris and Takara Harrison, each of whom has hit a three-pointer. For Michigan-Dearborn, Tamia Townsell is 2 for 2 from the field, 5 points. The rest of the team is just 1 of 6 shooting for 2 points. So they're looking to get somebody going outside of Townsell. John McGinty in year number 5 coaching the Fighting Saints. Shuffling players in and out early on, trying to get a feel for his rotation. Although, as I said at the outset, there are a lot of players back from last year. I mentioned 6 of their top 7 scorers returned from a season ago. The only one who didn't was the three-point specialist, Abby Shepard, who was their leading outside shooter. So they're going to have to find a way to replace that production from the outside, but most of the other key players are back. So early in the season, every team, to some extent, has to figure out how they're going to use their rotation. But for John McGinty, there aren't going to be a ton of adjustments compared to what they did last year. NAIA tournament team a season ago. Saints have an 8-7 lead in the opener today. Simone Harrell backs in, kicks it outside. Mia Kennelly makes her first appearance, and Kennelly is grabbed outside the three-point line by Tamia Townsell. Foul called on Michigan-Dearborn. I talked about, for the Saints, how 4 of 5 starters are returning, but Mia Kennelly is back as well. She was a starter 2 years ago. Missed all of last season to an injury. But back in the lineup today, so she's getting her first game action in a while. Simone Harrell is called for a travel, her third turnover of this first quarter. Shay Carver comes in for the Fighting Saints. Carver's a freshman out of Wheaton, Illinois. Wheaton Warrenville South High School. So she makes her college debut with her team up by 1. Marissa Thomas puts it on the floor. Thomas throws up her runner, gets the roll off the back of the rim. We're going back and forth here in the first quarter. Lead has changed hands 4 times already. Corinne Fromm, wide open for 3, perfect. Third made three-pointer of the game for the Fighting Saints. They've come from 3 different players. Corinne Fromm has her first points of the year. Here's Gary. Reagan Gary finds Marissa Thomas, who fires the 3 and misses it well short and out of bounds. Got a good look, but she ends up missing the rim. St. Francis leads it 11-9, 3:11 to play, first quarter. Fighting Saints basketball. It's Kennelly. Bounce pass is intercepted by Sydney Dixon. Dixon all alone in the front court. Misses an easy layup. Rebounded by Bailey Stimmick, so the Wolverines will get another chance, but that was an easy 2 points, a missed opportunity. Here's Thomas. Thomas pulls up just inside the foul line, misses the jumper. Offensive rebound. Townsell, third chance of the possession, does not go. And the rebound is pulled down by Leilani Harris. Takara Harrison on the other end fights through contact and misses the shot. So the rebound is knocked out of bounds by Sydney Dixon. It'll stay with the Fighting Saints, 23 on the shot clock. Sawinski is back in place of Fromm. Harris inbounds to Harrison. Lobbed down low to Leilani Harris. Working one-on-one with Thomas, and she's called for a hook. Offensive foul on Leilani Harris. Her first. It's the team's second. Turnovers continue to bite the Fighting Saints in the early going here. Their lead is 2. Stimmick passes to her left. Sydney Dixon. Dixon's pass is picked off. Mia Kennelly going end-to-end, and she's fouled on her way up. Great defensive play by Mia Kennelly. Anticipating that pass and turning it into the potential for points on the other end. Reagan Gary is called for her first foul, second on the team. Saints have led by as many as 3 points in this first quarter when it was 3-0. Kennelly will try to get it back to 3 with the second free throw. She misses the first. And misses the second as well. So offensive execution continues to not really be there early on for the Fighting Saints, but they do have the lead. Dixon works inside on Sawinski, pulls it back out to Reagan Gary. To a cutting Marissa Thomas. Pull up from the line, off the rim. Rebound deflected into the hands of Sydney Dixon. Harrell tried to grab it, couldn't haul it in. Stimmick on the drive, loses the ball. It's batted by Sawinski right into the hands of Harrell. Kennelly takes it inside. Kennelly lays it in, and a foul. Missed 2 free throws on the last possession, but she gets herself on the board with a big layup. And now a chance to make it a 3-point play as Corinne Fromm comes back in. Kennelly 0 for 3 shooting free throws this quarter, but she has given the Saints a 4-point lead. Here's Dixon working against Sawinski. Thomas fires down low to Townsell. Townsell double team, comes up short, fighting for her own miss, but she knocks it out of bounds. Saints basketball. Tough defense from St. Francis. They were able to stop Townsell without fouling. Now ahead by 4. St. Francis can create a little separation coming down to the final minute of the quarter. Instead, it's a travel called against the sophomore Corinne Fromm. That is 10 turnovers in the first quarter for St. Francis. They've got the lead, so you're not going to complain when you're ahead by 4 points, but 10 turnovers in one quarter is a big number. Ahead for Marissa Thomas. Thomas down the sideline, pulls up at the block. She is blocked by Corinne Fromm. Singer fires it ahead and overthrows Sawinski. The Saints cough it up yet again. 55 seconds to play in the first. Michigan-Dearborn struggling to shoot early on. They've been given a lot of extra opportunities, but haven't cashed in. We'll see if they can pull to within one possession right here. Probably their last chance of the quarter. Thomas drives right down the center of the lane, can't get the roll. Rebound deflected into the hands of Corinne Fromm. Fromm across half court to Sawinski. Sawinski steps inside and banks it home. Nice drive by Riley Sawinski. She picks up her first 2 college points. The lead is up to 6 for St. Francis. Drive from Townsell, got it and one. Good response for Michigan-Dearborn. So both teams going fast here. Each side had a chance to hold on for the final shot. Neither team decided to hold it. It worked out on both sides. They were able to score. Townsell does not make it a three-point play. Misses the free throw, but gets her own rebound. So again, Michigan-Dearborn can hold for one. They work it around the perimeter. This is Stimick over to Thomas. Tried to get Sawinski in the air on the fake, couldn't, and misses the buzzer-beating heave. So the first quarter comes to a close. A sloppy first period, but that can be expected in the first game of the year. We'll see if they clean it up going into quarter number 2 as the Saints lead the Wolverines 15-11. I'll be back in just a moment. Quarter number 2 coming up. Quarter number 2 coming up. St. Francis leads Michigan-Dearborn 15-11 is our score. Saints have gotten points from 6 different players already, so that's some of the good early on for St. Francis. The other good thing is they're shooting 55% from the field, 3 of 6 on three-pointers. Problem for St. Francis is they've turned it over 11 times in just 10 minutes. Michigan-Dearborn has had a lot of opportunities as a result of that. They're struggling to shoot, though. 5 of 19 early on, just 26%. Only 2 players have scored. Tamia Townsell, 3 of 5 from the field. And Marissa Thomas has 4 points, but she's been all over the place. 2 for 10 shooting so far today. Thomas was the leading scorer for Michigan-Dearborn last year, averaging just a shade under 11 points per game. But remember, that was a team that went 1-27 in the 24-25 campaigns. So they're looking to take a big step up from last year's results. New head coach Becky Sutton, Michigan high school state champion as a coach, an assistant for a long time at the Division III level. So far, so good for Becky Sutton in her first game, as her team has kept it close against the number 19 team in the country in the preseason poll. Michigan-Dearborn ball to start the second quarter. Marissa Thomas, double teamed, in some trouble, fires out of the trap to Bailey Stimick. Tamia Townsell working against Harris and Thormeyer, and somebody got her arm. Foul called on St. Francis. This one goes against Lorelei Thormeyer, her first. Mia Kennelly checks back in for Riley Sawinski. Stimick inbounds it to Lillian Golson. Golson drives and kicks. Dixon steps just inside the arc and misses the two-point jumper, but Thormeyer is unable to grab the rebound off her right hand and out of bounds. Shot clock resets to 20 for the Wolverines. Lobbed in for Golson. Handoff Thomas. Marissa Thomas going left to right, circles around Harris and scores off the backboard. Nice drive from Marissa Thomas, who now has a game-high 6 points. Scratch that, actually. She does have 6 points. It's not a game-high. Tamia Townsell hit the free throw earlier, so she's got 7. Lorelei Thormeyer for 3, and her first 3 points of the game. Nice look for Thormeyer as the Saints get their 4th three-pointer from their 4th different player. Simone Harrell knocks the pass out of bounds. Michigan-Dearborn ball from the sideline right at half court. Bailey Stimick passes to her left. It's Dixon. Dixon works against Mia Kennelly. Bumped back near the half-court circle, and it's deflected away by Kennelly. Good hands. Kennelly comes up with the steal. Harris into the corner, Thormeyer. Thormeyer takes it all the way in and misses, but Paytas is there for the rebound. And we've got a jump ball as Marissa Thomas reached her hands in after Paytas had pulled down the rebound. So the possession arrow favors St. Francis. They'll keep it ahead by 5. 8:35 to play in the first half. Takara Harrison drives to the left. Harrison, tough assignment with Marissa Thomas, but rolls it over her and scores her 4th and 5th points tonight. Good defense from Thomas, better offense from Harrison. Townsell works her way inside, blocked by Paytas. Ball pulled back in by Townsell. They'll try again with 14 to shoot. Thomas for 3. Off the rim. Paytas grabs another rebound. Nice job keeping it high. Didn't let the Wolverines take it away. Fired down the floor for Leilani Harris. Harris gets inside, scores, and gets the foul. Beautiful drive from Leilani Harris, her 2nd field goal today. She heads to the free throw stripe as Shea Carver returns to the floor for the Saints. The lead is up to 9. When you turn the ball over 11 times in the first quarter and still have a 4-point lead at the end of it, you know that you're doing something right. They're shooting the ball really well. They're getting a lot of good looks. It's just a matter of cutting down on the turnovers to pull away, and that's what's happened here. Meanwhile, they've picked up the pressure defensively as they get a steal in the backcourt. Simone Harrell drives, she scores and gets to the line. A chance for back-to-back 3-point plays as the Saints lead is up to 12. And a timeout is called by Michigan-Dearborn. 25-13, 7:46 to play in the first half. And since the change of quarter, St. Francis hasn't turned it over once, and their offensive production has picked up dramatically as a result. Already 10 points this quarter. So they've built a big lead over Michigan-Dearborn. 3 of 5 from the field this quarter. They're 4 for 7 overall from three-point range. I mentioned a little bit earlier that of all the production that they were returning this year, one thing that they were losing was their best three-point shooter from a season ago. They were looking for somebody to pick up the slack in that regard, and it's been a team effort so far. Takara Harrison, Lorelei Thormeyer, and Corinne Fromm are each 1 for 1 from three-point range, and Leilani Harris is 1 for 2. So I think it's fair to say that if you have to defend that many players from the outside, it's going to help everybody's percentage a little bit over the course of the season. And everybody can shoot on this team. A 12-point lead for the Saints. Simone Harrell will try to make it a 13-point lead. Harrell has 4 points so far this evening, 3 rebounds to go along with them. And looking for point number 5 right here. Harrell was a 71% foul shooter last year as a freshman out of Schaumburg High School in Chicago's northwest suburbs. She's got 5 points to lead the team. Actually, Leilani Harris has 6 points. Keep cutting people short. I'm sorry. 13-point lead, regardless of who's got those points. Thomas, one bounce to the top, passes off to her left. It's Golson. Over to Bailey Stimmick, shot clock down to 7. Lillian Golson drives from the left, working against Harrison, creates some separation, but misses the 5-footer. And here come the Fighting Saints. Corinne Fromm drives center lane, up with the left hand, lays it in. St. Francis has made 4 of 6 shots this quarter. A steal from Mia Kennelly, and Kennelly lays it in. Second basket of the day for Mia Kennelly. Both of them have come off of steals and layups. That's been her game so far today. Simone Harrell goes for another steal, but she's called for a foul. Two fouls on St. Francis this quarter. They have outscored Michigan-Dearborn 15-2 over the last 3+ minutes since the start of this second quarter. Teams are going to be called over their benches. I don't know if somebody called a timeout. The officials are discussing something, whether a timeout was called or if it's just an unplanned stoppage. Whatever the case, we're going to get a quick break in the action. 6:51 to play in the first half. All St. Francis right now, they lead it 30-13. Picked up a 39-point victory against Michigan-Dearborn in the season opener last year up in Michigan. This year, the Wolverines are making a Chicago trip. They're here, and then Trinity Christian will be the second half of their trip. That's tomorrow. Lorelei Thormeyer is going to the line to shoot a technical foul shot. And she makes it. I was trying to listen to the announcement there. I didn't know what the call was. Sounded like they had a technical foul for an unreported player. Something you don't see often, but Lorelei Thormeyer makes them pay for their hubris. I don't think it was actually hubris. Just a mistake, probably. 19-point lead. I'm guessing the unreported player is number 21 for Michigan-Dearborn, and I say that because she's on the floor right now, and I have no idea who she is because she's not on the roster. I'm going to try to figure this out. Takara Harrison comes up with a steal, lobs it ahead for Corinne Fromm, who lays it in. St. Francis had a problem holding on to the ball in the first quarter. Here in the second quarter, they're the ones creating the turnovers and scoring off of them. Marissa Thomas fires it over to Golson. Lillian Golson for 3. No, but she's fouled by Shea Carver. The big difference in the turnovers is that there were so many unforced errors by the Fighting Saints in the first quarter. Travels, offensive fouls, players stepping out of bounds. It was frustrating for them offensively, but it didn't create easy opportunities on the other end. The turnovers that St. Francis is forcing here in the second, they've all been live ball turnovers, which means that they've gotten a lot of fast break points and have pulled away as a result. Inbounded to Bailey Stimick after the foul. Foul apparently not on the shot. Here's Reagan Gary. Thomas steps inside the three-point line. Back to the wing and Gary. Gary works her way into the paint. 4 to shoot. Thomas outside. I don't think she sees the shot clock. Finally does. Steps back. Fires one up at the buzzer. Misses, but second chance also misses from Tamia Townsell. Loose ball foul called on Michigan-Dearborn. (34-13) is the score. It's Corinne Fromm bouncing it down low to Janae Singer. Just checked back in, fired outside. The three-pointer is off the mark from Lorelei Thormeyer. Corinne Fromm in the corner. Over to the wing, Leilani Harris misses the three. Will the Saints get a third chance? Looks like they will. Singer was going after the offensive rebound, and she was fouled. Tamia Townsell and Reagan Gary were both going for the rebound as well. It looks like they got Gary for the foul. And Singer goes to the line. Kennelly back in for Fromm for St. Francis as Singer goes to the line for the first time. Looking for her first points as a Fighting Saint, but she misses the first of 2 shots. Singer's the one big transfer that came over to St. Francis this year. Originally from St. Paul, Minnesota. Came to the Saints from Hutchinson Community College. Any of the other additions are freshmen. A little bit of a departure from the way that John McGinty has built his roster the past couple of years. They haven't gone too heavy into transfers, but more so than they did this year. Outside it's Stimick firing a three and draining it. The Wolverines needed that. They have been struggling mightily from the outside. That was their first make on a three-point attempt today after they had missed their first 5, 3 of them for Marissa Thomas, who's had a rough night shooting. Harris down on the block, works against Marissa Thomas, floats it up short, and grabs her own rebound. Out to Lorelei Thormeyer, who knocks down the three. Second three of the game for Thormeyer. The lead is 22. Lorelei Thormeyer, the senior point guard, has 8 points. A player who has significantly improved every year that she's been here. Can finish up her career with a strong senior season. She's off to a good start as Sydney Dixon works inside and lays it off the backboard. Good drive from Sydney Dixon. Michigan-Dearborn starting to right the ship a little bit offensively. Haven't been able to slow the Saints' offensive game down here in the second quarter, though. Almost forced a turnover as Bailey Stimick knocked the ball free from Lorelei Thormeyer. It's out of bounds, last touched by Stimick. 20 on the shot clock. It stays with the Saints. It'll be Kennelly inbounding. She's on the floor with Harrell, Carver, Sawinski, and Harrison. Takara Harrison playing the point. Harrison gives it up to Sawinski. The freshman Sawinski drives to her left and finishes strong at the rim. She's having an impressive debut. A couple of really nice moves into the paint for her today. Saints have hit the 40-point mark. They were up by just 4 points at the end of the first quarter, but they have picked up the pace dramatically as Dixon pulls up from the elbow, misses the jumper, but gets herself to the free throw line. Foul called on Shea Carver, number 2. Saints have hit their foul limit for the half. That's their 4th of the quarter. 3:33 showing on the clock as Dixon misses the first free throw. Again, first game of the year, you expect things not to be entirely crisp. I think both teams would like to see a little better production from the free throw line. Two teams are shooting a combined 50%. Second one does go for Dixon. She makes 1 of 2. Speaking of 50%, she's right on the money there. Riley Sawinski spins into the paint. Dixon falls to the floor. Sawinski kicks it outside. Harrison, open look. Takara Harrison misses the 3. And I think Mia Kennelly might have been standing on the baseline as she tried to save that one. So it is going to go the other way. Out of bounds off the Fighting Saints. A rare empty possession for the Saints over the last 7 minutes or so of this game. They've been executing at an extremely high level this quarter. 25 points on the board in the second quarter in less than 7 minutes. And they're looking for more as Simone Harrell comes up with a steal. Harrell tries to bounce it inside to the cutting Leilani Harris, but it's picked off. Tamia Townsell on the other end. Good patience. Townsell lays it in. Timeout called. A 30-second timeout with 2:56 to play in the half. 40-21. The Saints lead by 19. Nice possession there for Michigan-Dearborn. Sydney Dixon got the steal, fired it ahead for Tamia Townsell, and Townsell just very patiently was able to pull up inside, let the two defenders blow by her, and she laid it in. Townsell is up to 10 points, the first double-digit scorer of the game for either team. And Townsell has had a big statistics first half, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. One big problem on her stat sheet is that she's also committed 3 fouls. Down by 19 right now. Becky Sutton doesn't want to worry too much about foul trouble. And so she has left Townsell on the floor with those 3. She's still on the floor coming out of the timeout. Just under 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. Simone Harrell. Over to Takara Harrison. Townsell knocks it out of bounds. Just hung around the sideline for a while before finally hitting that brown paint. Harrison backed off because she knew that Michigan-Dearborn had touched it last, but it was nearly saved. Thormeyer hands it to Harrison. Takara Harrison works inside on Townsell, trying to draw that 4th foul, but Townsell steps up strong on defense, does not foul, and forces the miss. Marissa Thomas puts the ball behind her back, steps back for the long 2, and misses it short. 3 of 14 from the field today for Marissa Thomas. Corinne Fromm for the Fighting Saints. Pass deflected and out of bounds. .21 to shoot. Kennelly inbounds. This is Mia Kennelly on the left wing. Doesn't use the screen, takes it into the left instead. Out to an open shooter. Corinne Fromm knocks it down. A whistle blows. I think we're going to get a foul on St. Francis. It's after the shot. So the three-pointer does count from Corinne Fromm. But then on the box out, the foul is called on Mia Kennelly. So give Fromm the 3 points. She's got 10 now. First Saint in double figures. Each team has hit their foul limit. So we'll get free throws the rest of the way. Tamia Townsell works to the right, hands it off to Marissa Thomas. Thomas just inside the three-point line, drives on Leilani Harris. I think Takara Harrison blocked that from behind. Good hands from Harrison. Good pass ahead to Riley Sawinski, and Sawinski is fouled. Riley Sawinski at the free throw line. She's got 4 points. Freshman from Aurora, Illinois. She attended Aurora Central Catholic High School. One of a couple of freshmen we've seen in the rotation today. She misses the first free throw. The other is Shea Carver. They've got 3 freshmen on the roster overall. Elena Poizan is the other. We have not seen her. Sawinski misses both free throws, so free throw shooting continues to be a problem. They're just 4 of 10 from the line. But shooting well from the outside as Fromm misses the three-pointer. And the rebound out of bounds off the Saints. So just 4 of 10 on free throws. Prior to that shot, though, they had been at 50% from three-point range. They were 6 for 12. Now, obviously, 6 of 13. Bailey Stimmick gets it across the timeline, passes off to Marissa Thomas, who sets it up from the wing. Down low, Tamia Townsell is fouled from behind. Looks like they'll get Karim Fromm on this one. Free throw shooting has been a problem for St. Francis today. It hasn't been all that great for Michigan-Dearborn either. The Wolverines are just 3 of 6 shooting foul shots today. Second one from Townsell is good. Takara Harrison comes in with 72 seconds remaining in the half. Thormeyer walks it to her left, throws it away, looking for Simone Harrell. But her pass goes out of bounds as the Saints turn it over. Turnovers haven't been as big a problem lately. That's just their 3rd one of the second quarter after coughing it up 11 times in the first. Still a much higher number overall than John McGinty would like to see, but St. Francis has overcome it early on. Tamia Townsell inside, a little bit short off the glass. Second chance is good for Lillian Golson, and she'll head to the line to try to make it a 3-point play. .51 seconds on the clock as Golson's foul shot is good. So despite struggling from the line overall, they've now hit their last 2 in a row. They cut the deficit to 18. Let's see how quickly the Saints move. They decide to go 2 for 1 here. Singer over to Harrell. Down low, looking for Singer again, but it's thrown out of bounds. So the turnover bug starting to bite St. Francis again these last few possessions. Still been a whopper of an offensive quarter for the Saints. They've got 28 points just in this second period. Sydney Dixon across half court, slows it down. Dixon shovels it off to Thomas, batted away by Lorelei Thormeyer, but Lillian Golson is there to pick it up for the Wolverines. Pull-up jumper, Tamia Townsell misses it short, and with 23 on the clock, Simone Harrell comes away with it. Harrell works quickly inside, spins into the paint, back out to Sawinski, steps into the paint. Sawinski comes up short. Fight for the loose ball. Kennelly dives on top of it, and we've got a held ball called. Possession arrow is going to go the other way. So with 9.8 on the clock, Michigan-Dearborn will get a chance for the final first half possession. Shea Carver comes in defensively for Simone Harrell. Six seconds on the clock. It's across half court. Thomas to Dixon. Into the corner. Open look. Lillian Golson in and out on the 3, and that'll do it for the first half. Slow start to this game, but St. Francis turned it up in the second quarter. Built up a big lead, and that's where they're at right now. 43-25 is our score with 20 minutes of basketball behind us and another 20 still to play. First, we've got a 15-minute break. I'll step aside during halftime. We'll be back with you after that 15 minutes is up to get you some first half stats and second half action from Joliet, Illinois at the Sullivan Center. St. Francis, the number 19 team in the country, trying to improve to 1-0. They're off to a good start. We're getting set to start the second half here at the University of St. Francis, the home of the Fighting Saints, who have a 43-25 lead on the University of Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines. Terry Bonadonna with you once again. Play-by-play of the second half coming up. First, let's take a look at some of the first half stats. Saints shot 55% from the field compared to just 29% for the Wolverines. 6 of 13 from three-point range. Both Corinne Fromm and Lorelei Thormeyer hit 2 3-pointers. Fromm is the leading scorer for the Fighting Saints with 10 points. Thormeyer's got 8. They've gotten offensive contributions from 8 different players already in today's game. Michigan-Dearborn just 1 of 7 from three-point range. Their leading scorer is Tamia Townsell, who's got 10 points, 8 rebounds, on her way potentially to a double-double, but she's in foul trouble as well, 3 of them for Townsell in the first half. St. Francis was led by Leilani Harris on the boards. She had 5 rebounds. Takara Harrison led the team with 3 assists in the first half. Mia Kennelly had 3 steals and went 2 of 2 from the field. Nice return to the lineup for Kennelly today after missing last season with an injury. Both of her field goals came off of her own steals as well. Saints outscored the Wolverines 28-14 in the second quarter. We'll see if they're able to maintain that momentum in the second half. They turned the ball over 11 times in the first quarter, only 3 in the second. They were able to force 6 turnovers in the second quarter as Leilani Harris's fadeaway shot misses to open up the second half. Michigan-Dearborn basketball, trailing by 18. Biggest lead for St. Francis today has been 22. Thomas misses the long 2-point jumper. It's out of bounds. Marissa Thomas has been all over the place today. Very aggressive. Sometimes maybe a little bit too aggressive. She's 3 of 16 from the field. That was a quick shot and not a particularly good one, just inside the 3-point line. Jumper from Thormeyer is good from just outside the 3-point line. A game-high 11 points now for the senior Lorelei Thormeyer. St. Francis leads by 21. Here's Marissa Thomas driving the baseline. Layup is good. Nice drive from Thomas. She's got 8 points. Thormeyer and Harrison set up the offense for the Fighting Saints. It's Mariah Paytas. High post, passing off to Harrison on the wing. 3-pointer misses short. Long rebound to Paytas. That's her 5th of the game, and she's got her first 2 points on the putback. Mariah Paytas, the sophomore center for St. Francis out of Champlin, Minnesota. One of 2 Minnesotans on the team. Golson drives around Harris, and she's fouled going to the rim. I believe that'll go against Simone Harrell. It'll be her second. It's actually the second on Leilani Harris rather than Harrell. They got Harris from behind. And a timeout is called by Michigan-Dearborn. 8:17 to play in the third quarter. 48-27 is our score. St. Francis leads by 21. As I said, 22 is their largest lead. Lead went back and forth in the first quarter. We actually had 6 early lead changes before St. Francis finally pulled away early in that second quarter. It was a close game all the way through those first 10 minutes. Saints led it 15-11 at the end of 1. St. Francis coming off of a 25-8 season. They went to the national tournament, won 1 game there, before eventually falling to Dordt University, which was just a tough matchup for them, tough matchup for anybody. Number 1 team in the country, and a team that ended up going all the way to the championship. Ranked number 1 to open up this season as well, after the 2024-25 campaign that ended with the championship game victory against Indiana Wesleyan. 1 out of 2 from the line for Lillian Golson. So you go to the national tournament, win a game, and then lose to the eventual national champions. It's a pretty successful season. Saints trying to build on that. Lorelei Thormeyer kicks it into the corner. Takara Harrison worked around to Simone Harrell. Harrell steps inside, bounce to Paytas, layup, no. Rebound still loose and scooped up by Takara Harrison, setting up Corinne Fromm for 3. Third three-pointer of the game for Corinne Fromm. The sophomore has a game-high 13 points. Reagan Gary kicks it out to Lillian Golson. The lead is as big as it's been all day. Townsell is fouled on her way up. She's got 2 free throws coming her way. Sydney Dixon checks back in for Lillian Golson for the Wolverines as Townsell tries to add to her team-leading 10-point total, but she misses the first free throw. Free throw shooting today, Saints are at just 49%. Michigan-Dearborn at 50%, actually going down now after that miss and going down further after that miss. So both teams are under 50% from the line. Here's Takara Harrison streaking end-to-end, and she's fouled by Marissa Thomas. So Harrison will get a chance to improve on that free throw percentage. Harrison's got 5 points so far this evening. And now she's got 6. She was the second leading scorer for St. Francis last year in her second year with the program. This is her senior season, third year with the Fighting Saints. She makes both free throws. She finished exactly 8 points behind Leilani Harris for the team lead. Harris averaged 15.5, Harrison 15.3. So if you have some form of Harris in your name, I guess you're in pretty good shape. You play for St. Francis. That's what I've learned. Marissa Thomas drives on Janae Singer, who comes up with the block, but Singer throws it away. Sydney Dixon fires a laser beam and misses on the jump shot. Another rebound for Singer. So 2 rebounds in the span of about 5 seconds for Janae Singer. Here's Mia Kennelly firing down low for Singer, who lays it in. First field goal tonight for Janae Singer. She's got 3 points. Michigan-Dearborn will inbound it again after the deflection. Everybody for the Fighting Saints today who has played has scored except for Shea Carver, who does not have a field goal attempt in her 5 minutes. 9 different players have found the scoreboard. Tamia Townsell misses, defended by Lorelei Thormeyer. Second chance, we got a kick. The Saints kicked it, so it'll stay with Michigan-Dearborn. It resets the shot clock to 20. 27-point game. Sydney Dixon bounces in for Bailey Stimmick, and Mia Kennelly comes up with her 3rd steal of the game. 4th steal, make that. 4 steals for Kennelly. Lorelei Thormeyer works inside, sends it out Simone Harrell's way. Harrell's too strong on the 3-pointer, but the rebound is knocked out by Sydney Dixon, so the Saints will keep it. Thormeyer lobs it in for Corinne Fromm. Bounce down low for Singer, up with the left hand, short. Fights for her own rebound, keeps it alive for Kennelly. Saints reset. Drive from Harrell, up with the left hand, no good. Another chance for Singer. 3rd chance on the possession. And Singer pays it off. 57-28. The Saints now are more than doubling up the Wolverines. Here's Sydney Dixon. Bouncing to the free throw line, and Reagan Gary thrown out of bounds, deflected by Mia Kennelly. 12 to shoot for Michigan-Dearborn. as they'll inbound from the sideline. Takara Harrison and Riley Sawinski check back in for John McGinty's crew. Dixon kicks into the corner. Bouncing inside, blocked from behind by Takara Harrison, and that's a shot clock violation. The elusive number 21 has checked back in for Michigan-Dearborn. We still have not gotten confirmation on who that is. She is not on the team's roster. Possibly Nyla Hood. Possibly Mila Brown. That's all I got for you. Maybe one of those two. Spinning inside, Takara Harrison misses. Rebound deflected over to Tamia Townsell, who pulls it in. Halfway through the third quarter, the Saints have extended their lead. They were up by 18 at halftime. It's all the way up to 29 now, as Mia Kennelly is called for the touch foul. Second foul on her. Keep in mind, again, the Saints only scored 15 points in the first quarter. So since then, they've put 42 on the board in just 15 minutes of play. Three-pointer. Bailey Stimmick knocks it down off the inbounds play. Quick release. A much-needed three ball for Michigan-Dearborn. Stimmick has 6. She's 2 for 3 from three-point range. The rest of the team is 0 for 6. As the pass is deflected out of bounds by Tamia Townsell. Timeout is called with 4:46 on the clock. 57-31 the score. I'll be back in just a moment. St. Francis in control of this one with 14:46 to play in the game. 57-31 is the score. They come out of the timeout with Lorelei Thormeyer set to inbound. Shea Carver, Mia Kennelly, Leilani Harris, and Takara Harrison make up the rest of the Fighting Saints lineup on the floor. Thormeyer fires it in to Harrison. One dribble, back out to Harris. Three-pointer, misses. Rebound is chased down by Shea Carver, but she can't keep it alive as she saves it right to Michigan-Dearborn. Carver races back into the play after she took a hard fall into the bleachers. Leilani Harris comes up with a steal and throws it away. She was looking for Carver. The two of them were not on the same page, and the ball is fired directly out of bounds. Another chance for the Wolverines as a foul is called. This goes on Leilani Harris, it looks like. Foul number 3 on Leilani Harris, 4th on the Fighting Saints. 4:24 to play in the quarter. Shot clock to 20. Sydney Dixon tries to get it in, throws it off the foot of Mia Kennelly. They'll do it again. Lobbed up high for Lillian Golson. Golson dribbles into the left, cuts back into the paint and floats it in. Nice move by the freshman Lillian Golson. She's been impressive so far today. Becky Sutton, in her first year as head coach, trying to rebuild this team after a really rocky year last season. Golson seems like a nice piece in her first year at the school. Cutting Shay Carver is fouled. Nice ball movement, and Carver gets herself to the free throw line with a chance to become the 10th Saints player to hit the scoreboard.
Take your time, Shay. Take your time. Walk it off, kid. Walk it off.
Mariah Paytas checks in for Mia Kennelly. First shot for Carver rolls in. One more shot coming up here. Got them both. Her first 2 points as a Fighting Saint. Shay Carver makes it a 26-point St. Francis lead. And now they put on the full court press against Bailey Stimmick, the junior guard who gets across half court. Saints went for the trap, but Stimmick was able to quickly dribble out of it. Lobbed inside. Passed back out to Dixon, who knocks down the three. Finally, the threes are starting to fall for Michigan-Dearborn. First one to go for anybody other than Bailey Stimmick. The Wolverines now have 3 3-pointers in the game. Takara Harrison spins into the paint. Harrison throws it up wildly and out of bounds. That was blocked. So it is going to stay with the Saints. 15 on the shot clock. Thormeyer lobs it high for Harrison. Shoveled out to Corinne Fromm, game's leader with 13 points. It's Simone Harrell, the shot clock running down. Flips it to Fromm in the corner. Not this time on the three-point attempt. Rebounded by the Wolverines. Coming up on the final 3 minutes of the third quarter. All St. Francis today. They've been able to extend their lead a little bit further since halftime as Golson steps back behind the three-point line, misses short, and Harrell grabs the rebound, but she's going to be called for a foul as Tamia Townsell hits the ground hard. Townsell is shaken up right now, has not been able to pull herself up, and she's going to bring the training staff out. 2:54 to play in the third quarter. St. Francis ahead by 23 points. And we'll have a break in the action as Townsell's attended to, so hopefully she's okay after she was just fouled by Lorelei Thormeyer on that play on Harrell's rebound. So it will be Michigan-Dearborn ball when we're ready to start playing again. Townsell has a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. She picked up her third foul about halfway through the second quarter. Becky Sutton stuck with her, and it's paid off. She has not committed another one, but things aren't looking good at the moment for her to continue in this game. She is able to get herself up and walk off the floor, so that's a positive sign. We may yet see her again today. 12 minutes, 54 seconds remaining. That foul was the 5th of the quarter on the Saints, so it will send Reagan Gary to the free throw line. And Gary misses the first free throw. Reagan Gary, one of the few starters, one of the few rotation players for Michigan-Dearborn, who was not part of last year's team, misses both free throws. Takara Harrison going fast to the other end, but she has it stripped at the last instant. Here come the Wolverines. It's Stimmick stepping into a three. Air ball, short. Actually did graze the rim, but it was a miss regardless. Here's Lorelei Thormeyer. Thormeyer to Fromm. Corinne Fromm open, gives it up inside. Mariah Paytas is fouled. Good drive from Fromm. She received the pass outside in an area she could have shot it from. She's been the hot shooter today for the Fighting Saints, and she was not picked up on this possession. But instead, she carried it in tight, found an open shooter underneath the basket, and Mariah Paytas got fouled going up. Paytas has 2 points and a team-leading 7 rebounds today. Now she's got 3 points, and the Saints lead by 24. Their lead has been as big as 29. They're getting close to that again, up by 25. 61-36, and the free throws are starting to fall a little bit more consistently for the Fighting Saints. Townsell right back on the floor, only missed a few seconds after what looked initially like a pretty bad injury. The layup is good. I think that's Mila Brown. I think that's what we're going to go with here, wearing number 21 for the Wolverines. She's got her first 2 points. Ball is thrown away and intercepted by Sydney Dixon. Dixon pulls up down low and lays it in. Timeout called by St. Francis. The lead that was once 29 is down to 21 with 1:52 to play in the third quarter. John McGinty calls time to bring his team over to talk it out. Corinne Fromm leads the way right now for the Saints, 13 points. They have at least partly cleaned up the turnover issues. They had 11 of them in the first quarter. Just 8 since then, still more than they'd like, 19 now for the game. Their bigger problem of late has been shooting. They were well over 50% in the first half, but since halftime, just 5 of 15 from the field. Whereas Michigan-Dearborn was right around 30% in the first half, and they're shooting 6 of 13 so far in the second. So the Wolverines have made a little bit of a run. Still a lopsided score right now, but the Saints aren't content with it. They want to play hard to the end. As a nice pass from Fromm to Singer results in an easy layup. Janae Singer has 7 points now, 6 of them in this third quarter. Lillian Golson dribbles outside. Passed off to Brown. Down low, Sydney Dixon. Dixon circles around Singer, but can't finish at the rim. Here comes Mia Kennelly. Kennelly's pass is jumped, stolen by Lillian Golson. Golson right into the front court for 2. 20th turnover of the game for St. Francis. 63-42. Here's Corinne Fromm. Down low, turnaround misses. Offensive rebound, Kennelly, second chance, no. Bailey Stimmick comes away with it. Wolverines are holding their own here. Dixon bounces down low to Tamia Townsell, and Townsell is bumped from behind by Janae Singer. That's a foul. Tamia Townsell is at the line. First free throw misses. Michigan-Dearborn as a team is 1 for 7 shooting free throws in this second half. Townsell has a double-double, but she hasn't scored since halftime. See if she can change that here. She does make 1 of 2. 63-43. Leilani Harris across the timeline, passes to Sawinski. Given right back up to Harris. Harris drives into traffic, can't finish. Keeps it alive, though, out to Lorelei Thormeyer. Thormeyer penetrates, dishes to Singer, and Singer's pass is deflected out of bounds by Lillian Golson. 9 on the shot clock, 22 on the game clock as the pass is lobbed in for Mia Kennelly. At the free throw line, it's Harris. Leilani Harris is bumped, can't quite finish, but she'll go to the line for 2 shots. First foul on Golson. Harris makes her first free throw. One more coming up. She goes 2 for 2. Leilani Harris has 8 points. Shot clock is off for Michigan-Dearborn. Stimmich down to the corner for Brown. Brown runs into traffic and she stumbles to the ground. Traveling is the call. 6.1 seconds to go in the third quarter. St. Francis will get a chance for one more shot. Inbounded to Lorelei Thormeyer. Thormeyer with 3 seconds gives it up to Harris. Harris steps in for 2, a little bit short at the buzzer. And the third quarter comes to a close. St. Francis raced out to a 29-point lead. Michigan-Dearborn cut into it, but it is the Saints who finish strong at the end of the third quarter. With 10 minutes to play, it's 65-43. I'll take a break and be back with quarter number 4. (65-43), St. Francis leads Michigan-Dearborn as we get set to start the fourth quarter of this game. Saints are led by Corinne Fromm, 13 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Lorelei Thormeyer is also in double figures with 11 points. Everybody who has played today has scored for St. Francis. That's 10 different players. It's Michigan-Dearborn ball to start the fourth quarter. Lillian Golson sends it into Tamia Townsell. It bounces back to the top of the key. Townsell, long two-pointer, a high arcer, rattles home. Tamia Townsell's got 13 points. I got confirmation after the third quarter. It is Mila Brown for Michigan-Dearborn wearing number 21, so I got that right on the guess. Leilani Harris's leaner misses. Sydney Dixon steps up, fires a jumper, misses it short, rebounded by Simone Harrell. Lobbed ahead for Thormeyer. The pass was deflected, but it finds Thormeyer anyway. Harrell works outside, fires across court. Thormeyer 3-ball, no. Long rebound is finally chased down by Harrison. Everybody just kind of watched it. Finally, Harrison went after it and picked it up behind the three-point line. Drive and kick from Harrison into the corner. Three-pointer Simone Harrell, all alone, but she missed it short. Rebound goes to Mila Brown. Brown flies end-to-end. Layup is no good. Mila Brown's got 2 points. She needs at least one more to be a net positive in today's game. Takara Harrison, corner three is good. Harrison from the corner, and the Saints lead is 23. Timeout called. 8:32 to play in the fourth quarter. Brown has 2 points, but because she's wearing the wrong uniform number, the first time she entered it was a technical foul, and the Saints got 2 points from that technical foul. So I know that's not her fault. It's an administrative issue, but just the same, her presence on the floor initially cost the team 2 points. She's made up for it by scoring 2 points, so she's back to even. But she would like to score again to move above even. Takara Harrison's above even tonight, 10 points on 3 of 9 shooting. She just knocked down her second three-pointer of the game, and that's a good sign. Harrison was very good last year for St. Francis. 15.5 points, 5.5 rebounds per game. But one thing she was not particularly proficient at, shooting three-pointers, just under 30% for the season. So the fact that she's 2 for 4 so far today is an excellent start. Wolverines basketball out of the timeout. It's Lillian Golson on the right side of the floor. Golson feeds Marissa Thomas. Thomas fakes the shot, takes one dribble, leans in on Lorelei Thormeyer and scores right over the St. Francis guard. Thomas knocks down the shot to make it a 21-point game again. Thormeyer bounces down low to Singer. Singer tries to fire to the corner for Sawinski, but it's kicked. Saints ball, 20 to shoot. Corinne Fromm in the post. Fakes to her right, spins to the left, and scores. Corinne Fromm showing off a lot of different ways to score today. She's got 15 points to lead everybody. A steal down low for Singer, and she throws it away. So she intercepted the pass, but sent it then straight out of bounds. A 23-point game, Michigan-Dearborn ball. Townsell works on Singer, picks up the dribble and has to get it outside to Thomas. 6 to shoot, and a foul is called on the floor. Just the first on the Saints. So it'll be an inbounds play from the baseline for Thomas, who throws it too high for Townsell, and it's picked off by Singer, who's called for the double dribble. Janae Singer is going back and forth here. She's got 2 steals in the last couple of minutes, and both times she has immediately turned it over. So the defense has been strong. Can't complain about that. 22 turnovers now for St. Francis. I've mentioned before they have gotten offensive contributions from everybody. They've played 10 players in this game. All 10 of them have scored. But this is the negative side. Of those 10 players, 9 of them have committed at least 1 turnover. So there's been a lot of good in this game for the Saints. There's been a lot to work on as well. I think usually you like that as a coach, first game of the season. You want to get a win, but you want to make sure that there's stuff to work on too, and there will be. St. Francis goes on the road for a couple after this. Their next home game following today is Monday, November 3rd. Riley Sawinski tries to come up with a steal. It's off her fingertips and out of bounds. Michigan-Dearborn will inbound again. Sawinski, by the way, is the one player without a turnover. And yes, I do know that I've just jinxed her, so get ready. Next time she touches it on offense. But everybody else has coughed it up at least once. 22 turnovers committed by the Saints today. Here's Bailey Stimmick giving it up to Marissa Thomas on the left side. Thomas steps into a double team, fires to the cutting Townsell. Townsell misses off the backboard, didn't get the rim, so the shot clock runs out. And it'll be St. Francis ball as they force a turnover of their own. Shea Carver and Mariah Paytas check back in for the Fighting Saints. Here's Corinne Fromm on the drive. Fromm, turnaround jumper. No, a little bit short off the rim. Rebound to Lillian Golson. Thomas splits the defenders and streaks to the hoop. Nice layup for Marissa Thomas after a strong drive. Thomas is up to 12 points. She shot the ball a lot more efficiently in this second half as well. Sawinski nearly let it run through her fingertips. She does chase it down, but now she throws it out of bounds. That went through the hands of Corinne Fromm. Officially, the turnover is credited to Corinne Fromm, so Sawinski is still the only player without a turnover today. Drive from Thomas, pull up from the foul line, misses the jumper. Going up high for the rebound is Sawinski. Fired ahead for Thormeyer, the layup is good. Nice transition offense for St. Francis as Lorelei Thormeyer adds to her total. 13 points in the game. Last season, Thormeyer was the team's third leading scorer, averaging 9 per game. Got a whistle and a foul on the Fighting Saints. That is on Shea Carver. 5:52 to play. 23-point lead for the Fighting Saints. They were up by 18 at halftime, up by 29 early in the third quarter. Credit to Michigan-Dearborn. They've weathered the storm as Stimmich misses the three. Offensive rebound, Townsell. Second chance, too hard off the glass, but she'll get a third chance. Again, Townsell off the backboard. This time it's in. St. Francis has not taken their foot off the gas pedal. Corinne Fromm spins in the paint, misses, and it's knocked out of bounds. We're going the other way. They've kept their starters in. They've not gone deep into the bench. Despite the double-digit lead, they've kept playing hard. And for that reason, Michigan-Dearborn should feel pretty good about the fact that they've essentially played them even the entire second half. In fact, you take away the second quarter, and this is a very tight game. Saints outscored the Wolverines 28-14 in the second quarter. Drive from Brown, and she floats it in. But outside of that dominant second period, they've only outscored them by 5 the rest of the game as Simone Harrell throws it out of bounds, looking for Sawinski. Five minutes to play. Still a comfortable lead for the Saints, but they'd like a few more buckets to put it away for sure. Reagan Gary fires over to Mila Brown. To the wing, it's Thomas. Marissa Thomas dribbles around Simone Harrell, pulls up off the block and rolls it off the front of the rim and over. Nice touch from Marissa Thomas. It's down to a 17-point game. Here's Takara Harrison, dribbling off to the left. Bounce to Mia Kennelly. Back to Harrison for three, rims out. Rebound to Golson. Michigan-Dearborn still trying to make a push late in this game. They were down by 29. It's just a 17-point game now. Leilani Harris jumps the pass and is all alone for two. A steal turning into a bucket for Leilani Harris. A huge basket for the Saints, who are reeling a little bit. Harris is in double figures. The lead is 19. And Sawinski is called for a foul. First on her. Third on the team. Thomas set to inbound from the sideline. Marissa Thomas thought about the three, drives instead, loses it, out of bounds. And last touched apparently by St. Francis. I didn't see any Saints get their hands on that one. I thought it just slipped out of Thomas and out of bounds, but she will keep it with 18 on the shot clock as Corinne Fromm checks back in. Townsell facing the basket. Dribbles into the paint, pulls up, passes outside to Reagan Gary. Here's Thomas. Marissa Thomas puts the ball on the floor, fires into the cutting Gary. Reagan Gary right underneath, throws up a wild one. The rebound is grabbed by Mia Kennelly, who's fouled at the end of the play. That's only the first foul on Michigan-Dearborn this quarter. It is number 4 for the game on Tamia Townsell. She'd been playing with 3 for the last 20-plus minutes, hadn't picked one up. Bounce down low for Fromm. Gary comes up with the steal. Good footwork to stay in bounds. It was a good deflection, but I thought sure that one was going out. She saves it and sets up a Stimac 3 who bounces it in. Third three-pointer of the game for Bailey Stimac. She's got 9 points. St. Francis's lead is down to 16. Driving down low, it's Takara Harrison. Step back, got the roll. Nice shot from Takara Harrison. Coming up on 2.5 minutes to play. Thomas up top to Gary. Down low, Townsell working against Kennelly. Comes up short, well defended by Kennelly, but Townsell gets the rebound, misses again. 2 straight misses for Tamia Townsell. Now Kennelly is hounded in the backcourt. Just does beat the clock. Finds a wide open Corinne Fromm under the basket, and she's fouled by Neela Brown. Good vision by Mia Kennelly, who had to fight her way across half court. Beat the 10-second clock, and then looked up and found nobody around Corinne Fromm right underneath. So Fromm went up for the layup, and Brown came over late, committed the foul. First free throw is good from Corinne Fromm. 16 points for her. She averaged about 5.5 per game last year as a freshman. She misses on the second free throw, and the rebound is chased down by Townsell. Big game for Tamia Townsell today. That's her 16th rebound of the night. Stimac misses the three-pointer this time, and Lorelei Thormeyer grabs the loose ball. Fired ahead for Sowinski. Sowinski swings it around. It's Corinne Fromm in the corner. Cross-court Thormeyer. Thormeyer steps into the paint. Finds a wide-open shooter. Near corner is no good from Sowinski. Michigan-Dearborn basketball. Stimac slows it down. Knocked loose by Shea Carver out of bounds. It'll stay with the visitors. Taylor Shergan, the sophomore from Evergreen Park, Illinois, comes into the game for the first time. So with a 19-point lead and 100 seconds still to play, John McGinty goes a little deeper into his bench. Shergan was primarily used in runaways last year, appeared in 14 games, and scored 6 points for the season. Bailey Stimac walks it up to the top of the key and fires over to the left side, and Dixon. Sydney Dixon picks up her dribble. 11 to shoot for Marissa Thomas. Working against Simone Harrell. Thomas puts the ball behind her back, fires it out to Stimac. Open three, off the rim, long rebound, tracked down by Simone Harrell. Harrell, 2-on-2, takes it in tight, fades away and throws a pass outside to Shergan, but it's picked off. Another St. Francis turnover as we approach the final minute of play. Sydney Dixon over to Bailey Stimac on the left side. Stimac's pass is picked off by Shergan. It's 2-on-1. Shergan takes it in on Dixon, misses the layup, but Harrell there for the follow, and she'll go to the line. So off the Shergan steal, St. Francis gets a chance at a couple of free throws. They've been much better from the line in the second half, 9 of 10, after going just 5 for 11 in the first half. And as soon as I say that, a missed free throw. Elena Poizon, the freshman out of Marion Catholic High School, gets her first collegiate action as she checks in for the final minute of play. Second free throw misses. The rebound is saved right to Singer. And Janae Singer will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. And now Malaya Scott comes in. Scott checks in for Lorelei Thormeyer. She's a junior transfer in from Malcolm X College in Chicago. Second foul shot for Singer is no good. So she sits at 8 points for the game. Here's Golson, corner 3, no. Rebounded by Scott. There's a 4-second difference between shot and game clock, so the Saints run the possession. Scott works her way inside and lays it in. Just off the bench for the first time and showing off her moves quickly with a rebound and a bucket on the other end. 22-point lead for St. Francis. One last chance for Michigan-Dearborn to get a shot off as Scott pokes it away and out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wolverines, 19.7 on the clock. Inbounded to Stimick, quick 3-pointer, air ball. Rebounded by Poizon. She loses it, ball on the floor, diving on top of it to make the play. Michigan-Dearborn keeps it alive, but ultimately called for the travel. And so St. Francis can end the game now by just getting it across half court. Freshman Poizon doing the ball handling. She does work her way across the timeline, and that'll do it. Saints will dribble it out, and they pick up their first victory of the season. In the opener here at the Sullivan Center, they knock off Michigan-Dearborn by a final score of 80-58. The Wolverines kept things relatively close in the second half after St. Francis built up an 18-point first-half lead. It was close after halftime. Not close enough, though, for the Saints to ever be seriously challenged, as they're able to run away with a big victory. The 19th ranked team in the country trying to defend that ranking. Off to a good start with a double-digit victory here today. Let's take a look at some of the final stats for today's game. Saints shot 44% from the field, 35% for Michigan-Dearborn. 3-pointers, big advantage St. Francis. They went 9 of 25, that's 36%. Michigan-Dearborn went 4 of 15, that's 27%. Free throw shooting could use some work. Saints picked up the pace in the second half, but still finished at just 60%. Michigan-Dearborn, 40%. Lots and lots of turnovers in this game. 27 of them committed by St. Francis, 21 for Michigan-Dearborn. Individual totals, Corinne Fromm was the game's leading scorer with 16 points, 6 of 12 shooting for the sophomore guard. 13 points for Lorelei Thormeyer. Takara Harrison had 12. And Leilani Harris had 10. The Saints got offensive contributions from 11 different players who scored 2 points or more, 4 of them in double figures. For Michigan-Dearborn, Tamia Townsend led the way with 15 points, an impressive double-double for her. 15 points, 16 rebounds. They got 14 points out of Marissa Thomas. Rebounding leader for the Fighting Saints today, Simone Harrell, Leilani Harris, Mariah Paytas, and Janae Singer all finished with 7 rebounds as the Saints out-rebounded the Wolverines in the game 55-34. Assist leader for St. Francis was Takara Harrison with 5 of them. Mia Kennelly led the way with 4 steals today. Our final score again, 80-58. St. Francis comes out on top. They improved to 1-0 on the season, trying to follow up an impressive campaign last year in which they won 25 games overall. Michigan-Dearborn ended last season on a win. They're not able to make it 2 in a row overall as they fall to 0-1. That'll do it for today's broadcast. Thanks for tuning in as St. Francis wins the opener by a final score of 80-58. Actually, we'll stay on here. We're going to get John McGinty, the head coach of the Fighting Saints, to join us in just a second, talking over the first win of the year for St. Francis. So stick with me just a second so we get him a microphone. John McGinty on the air right now. Coach McGinty, congrats on the big win. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, you know, it's October basketball, right? Told the girls, we're always happy with the win. You know, winning's hard, and it's good to get out there tonight and see one. The film will be great, and it's always good when you win, and you got a lot of growing to do. But it was good to see the young ones out there. I know they were ready to play somebody other than themselves.
Yeah, we got a chance to see a number of new players worked into the rotation, but you also have a lot of carryover from last year. 6 of your 7 leading scorers from a season ago return. So as far as the transition from one season to the next, it seems like this year more than most, you were ready to go in terms of your rotation.
Yeah, for sure. You know, when you can bring back continuity, that sure doesn't hurt. And we have a great group of seniors, and Lonnie and Takara and Lorelai, even me as a fourth-year kid. Then you bring back Simone, Corinne, Mariah, a lot of group that played a lot of minutes last year, and so that's always nice, makes things a little easier. Hopefully gets ahead of the game, but again, it's great to get a win, and now we go back to the drawing table for Tuesday to continue to get better.
Couple on the road before you return home in about a week and a half. What are you most looking to work on following today's victory?
Yeah, you know, I think just getting back to our principles, right? We do some good things. We get on a run in the second quarter, and then we kind of take a step off the gas. And I think one, it's getting our game legs underneath us, and just execution of sets offensively, screening bodies, and then defensive end as well. You know, just containing the ball. We got to rebound the basketball better. You know, and we got to stop fouling on the defensive end.
Coach John McGinty, congrats on the opening win. We'll talk to you again shortly.
All right, thanks, Tara.
John McGinty, the victorious head coach of the Fighting Saints, who today knock off the University of Michigan-Dearborn by a final score of 80-58. Next home game for the Saints is Monday, November 3rd. They'll try to tackle a few on the road after this one. That does it for today's broadcast. Thanks for tuning in as the Saints improve to 1-0 on the season. Until next time, Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Have a nice night.